Hello, my name is Helen, and today I want to talk about desperate times. I have had a conversation with a lot of women that today they are not happy in their relationships. But not only women, but men as well. They are not happy in their marriages or relationships simply because they find themselves in those marriages because they were desperate. This mistake is most of the time done by a lot of women that they feel they want to look like their peers, they want to be like their peers. They feel that time is not on their side anymore, that they end up agreeing to be married by that very same man that you never dreamt yourself marrying. I'm saying this because you'd find that a woman would say, I'm in a marriage, but I'm not happy. I feel that I don't love him anymore. He doesn't respect me. He doesn't take care of me. He doesn't show me any love. And when you ask them, but why is that? And they say, because I have covered these things when I wanted to be married, when I wanted the world to see that I can also be married, when I felt as though age was no longer on my side, that I ended up deciding to marry this man because I was desperate. Now, this woman find herself in a situation where she had to put her goals on the side. What she dreamed about herself, having a man that is loving, having a man that's going to take care of her, having a man that's going to respect her, and having a man that truly wants to marry her because he values her. They have taken that and put it on the side and agreed to marry that abusive man. And every time these signs were there while they were dating, they would cover such so that people don't see them, only because this woman wanted to keep this man, only because this woman wanted to have the title of I am married. Now, such situations end up making a person to be in a relationship where they feel as though marriage is not a beautiful thing, but they don't know how to get out. They have let desperate situations determine their future, and now it's difficult to get out. Now it's the time where this woman realizes, I could have stopped this from the beginning, but I couldn't because I felt the pressure and the need to be married. Now, how do I go back? How do I undo this? In most cases, they would say, but then how do I leave such a marriage because I have children? How do I go back to the very same people that I used to brag to and say, I have a man and I am married, but not telling them the truth that you had to cover all these bad things that has been happening to you? How do you do that? And my answer would be the same way you made choices. That's the same way you can still do even now. You may have made wrong choices. We learn from our choices. We learn from our mistakes. Sit down and go back to the drawing board. It's not easy to get out of a marriage or a stable relationship, more especially where there are children, but it's doable. It is doable because it is not worth it to be in a marriage where you know you are not happy. You know you are wearing a smile when you go out on the street, and when people see you, they think that you are in a perfect marriage, while you know very well that when you come back from home, you are disrespected. You are not loved. You are not even valued. Now you can change that. You go back to the drawing board. You put yourself first. You make yourself a priority. And I always say it doesn't help for a person to force to be in a marriage simply because they are children. It's better for children to see you happy with another guy who is not their biological father than for them to see hate with their biological parents. Because all your children will see is hate. They will see the father disrespecting the mother, maybe physically abusive or verbally abusing you. And that is not how you should be raising your children. The same thing applies to men. If you find yourself that you have married a wrong woman, that you thought she would be the woman that you wanted, and you realize now that is not how it is. Go back to the drawing board, make yourself a priority. Give yourself love, then give your children love by getting out of that abusive relationship. Just because you were desperate, it doesn't mean now, because you realize it, then you are forced to stay it. Yes, it could be embarrassing, yes, to go back and say that marriage that I was going around praising and telling lies, it's not like that. But we don't live for people. You need to understand you don't live for people. The moment you put yourself as a first priority and realize people will always be there and people will always talk, whether you do good or you do bad, but people will always talk. Now, the reason I'm making this video is to make you realize that with all the mistakes that we may have done in the past, you can still go back to the drawing board and put yourself as a priority. Make yourself the first priority. Change things. You can still turn your life around. You are not chained to be in that marriage. Sit down with your partner. Tell them I am not happy because I had envisioned myself with a man that's going to love me, with a man that's going to respect me, with a man that will be my best friend, a man that I can share everything with. But in this case, that is not what is happening. So can we please go our separate ways? In that way, you will be able to feel the weight of your shoulders. So this doesn't only apply on marriage, but in any situation that you feel you find yourself being desperate. Maybe you want to have a child, and you can see that, again, age is not, yes, age is not waiting for you. It's going. You are now 35, like I said, and you don't even have a child. What do you do in this situation? Do you end up sleeping with just about anyone as long as you can fall pregnant? That's not how it should be. Don't let desperate times make you to make wrong decisions. Do you find yourself going to sleep with a married man so that they can impregnate you just so you can have a child? That's not how it's supposed to be done. Maybe you need to go back on your knees and trust your God and say to God, I want to have a child. Can you please help me? Other than for you to make decisions on your own, going to places you're not even supposed to, settling for men you wouldn't even sleep with if you were not desperate, or even if you are a man, settling for women that you wouldn't even sleep with simply because you want a child. There are still other options. You can go to a sperm bank and let them do the in vitro. For men, you can actually get a surrogate and let them impregnate the woman for you. And there's a lot. You can still adopt a child, but don't level yourself down to a point where you find yourself in spaces where you wouldn't allow yourself to be in if you were not in a desperate situation. Don't let desperate situations make you level yourself down, make you look down on yourself, make you take just about anything, be it it's a job or whatever. If you told yourself, I don't want to find myself working as a cleaner anymore, even when you're desperate, if someone comes to you and say, I'm looking for a cleaner, say no. Love yourself enough to say no to what you said you wouldn't take, and keep focus on what you said you wanted. The more you keep focus, the more you will attract what you want. But the more you allow distractions to come and distract you, because there will be similar things that are similar to what you're looking for. You really need to know what is it that you're looking for. You really need to know what is it that you're going for. Keep your eyes on the ball and don't let other things distract you. If you tell yourself, I'm not going to be in a relationship with someone who disrespects me, then when the disrespect happens, say no. Don't settle simply because you're looking at your age, you're looking at your peers, or you're looking at other things. Say no. Fight for what you always want. Make yourself happy.